Hello, 7 Motorsport here. I'm here today in a race at the Monza short circuit, and this is of course the Mercedes number 33A class spec league, and it seems that some of us can't drive in a straight line today, but I managed to get through it relatively okay. There is something different about this race, however, and that is most of the time at this track the trouble starts at turn 1, but as you can see if you look ahead of me, usually most of the field would have crashed in turn 1, but in this race there is a slight delay, and so in this turn, as you can see now, there's a slight delay in the turn 1 mayhem, so to speak. So now that the field has thinned out a bit, I'm now in P14 at the end of lap 1. And this is a shame really. Like I said in a video I did a while back, if the drivers would have been a little more careful, then the crash that happened at the end of lap 1 might not have happened and we would have had a more interesting race. So just about halfway through lap 2 and I take P10. This track is of course notorious for its crashes in turn 1 in the first lap. And since this is the Elite League, this or the Elite Division I would have to say, this shouldn't really have happened. I would have hoped that the drivers in this division were a little bit better. But what's done is done, and I'm of course not complaining that I'm now in P10. So the beginning of lap 3 and I'm in P10 like I said. So let's see what the rest of this race brings me. And now that the field has spread out a bit, the race should quiet down by a lot now. Alright, so at this point I decided to take an early pit stop. And by the looks of it, I'm going to lose a lot of positions here. But since most of the drivers haven't taken their pit stop yet, I'm expecting I might be able to take back quite a lot of them. So leaving the pit in P17, so that means I have lost 7 places. However, there are still 8 laps to go, so quite a lot can happen in that time. So let's see what I am able to do. Alright, the end of lap 4, and it looks like at least one car is in the pit, so I should take that position. But he slipped out just in front of me, and then he tries to outbrake me with cold tires. I think most of you know that that's something you really shouldn't do. So just about halfway through lap 5 in P16. And given that you saw the length of this video, yes, this is the fall race. I decided that for once I would show the entire race as opposed to the edited versions I usually bring out. Anyway, with this lap coming to an end, it looks like there are some more cars in the pit. So let's see how many places I can gain this time. Okay, so apparently just one, but we're only halfway through the race, so it's likely to get interesting anyway. And that is of course easy to say for me, since I already know what happened. So stay tuned, I would say, and find out what the rest of the race brings me. So, another lap complete, just about. And it looks like there's a bunch of people in the pit. So, after gaining 3 positions, I'm now in P12 with 5 laps to go. So, I only need 2 more to get back to my original position before I took my pit stop. And since that I'm still in clean air, I might be able to do faster lap times as opposed to other drivers who might be fighting for position. Okay, another lap complete and another position gained, and it looks like I'm closing in on P9 and P10. And one thing I would like to talk about also is that recently I have started streaming on Twitch. So be sure to follow me on there also. My Twitch can be found on the top of the YouTube page. And when I stream, I will probably be doing league races. Alright, the beginning of lap 9 and I have some traffic ahead, so this could become very interesting. And as you can see, it certainly does. But anyway, I'm now in P9. And I do like to mention that most of us would probably like the idea of going too wide through a corner. But you do have to be careful, especially when the track is as narrow as it was back there. One tiny mistake, like we just saw, can result in some unfortunate crashes. So be careful when you do it, and also it's a little bit tricky when you go too wide with somebody you don't know. But of course, sometimes you just have to go for it and hope for the best, I suppose. Anyway, at the beginning of lap 10, I now find myself in P8 with only 2 laps to go. And again, I find myself in some clean air, so I might be able to again do some fast lap times compared to other cars who might be fighting for position. So, coming up at the end of lap 10, with only 2 laps to go after this, and this time no one is in the pit, so I remain in P8. There is a group of cars ahead of me, but I'm not sure if I'm able to catch up to them. But now it does look like P7 ahead of me went a little bit slow through this corner. So perhaps I'm still able to take P7. And someone has gone wide. So I take P7 anyway. So perhaps that means I'm still able to get P6. So the final lap, and someone was in the pit, so I take P6. So if I'm lucky, then I can take P5. But like I said, with only one more lap to go, well, that's going to be tricky, I suppose. Or very close, as P5 goes off into the grass. So now, as I am in the slipstream of P5, will I be able to take him in this corner? And the answer is no, unfortunately. So this was quite the interesting race, starting in 22nd and finishing in 6th. A shame of the crashes in lap 1, but hey, this is Forza, so this stuff happens. Anyway, this is it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, and of course don't forget to follow me on Twitch. And if you have not already and you're interested in more, be sure to subscribe. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.